welcome to Series 4 of the CFO Snapshot series. Today I have with us Scott Varker, who is the CFO of Comestri. Welcome.
Thanks, Claire.
How are things going at the moment down in Sydney?
Pretty well. I mean, it's certainly new times with this or with the shutdown. We didn't have a lot of time to sort of plan for it, but I guess we went into sort of lockdown or, started working from home probably a week before most other people. So I guess that put us in good stead because we did have some plans going into it, but the company's coping pretty well, I think, at the moment. So it's things are going pretty well.
Good. So now you guys are in the technology services.
Yeah, that's correct. We're a SaaS company, so we actually provide, I guess it's like middleware, but it's a connection between online retail, and back-end systems. So we've probably found that we're actually in a sweet spot in where everybody's online now. We've been inundated with inquiries to utilise our system so people can get online, because often that's the only way that they can sell, particularly in the retail, with bricks and mortar being closed down. So yeah, I mean, it's been busy. Our platform is seeing a 30% increase in volume since the lockdown. So yeah, things are going well from a company turnover point of view.
Well, that's good. I mean, as soon as you mentioned retail, obviously, I was like, but it's good that you guys are, very busy, and you've got that 30% increase at the moment, which is great.
Yeah.
Now, one of the questions actually that I was emailed through today, which we all going to have to start thinking about, is after the cabinet meeting, I think it's on Friday, so tomorrow. There's this return to work. Now, everyone's done the transition to remote. I know that some of my team are only kind of just getting used to that, and now it's going to be a transition back. How are you? I mean, have you guys thought about your transition back and back to the office and what that looks like at the moment?
Yes, we're going to look at probably a 1 day a week back into the office, where we'll sort of try and maintain, that social distancing. And then the next rollout or the next phase of that will be on a voluntary basis. So people that want to come back into the office. I mean, most people have found that it's been, quite good to work from home in terms of productivity. The whole connection with their team has still been reasonably good. We've had, an excellent HR person that's really stepped up and helped facilitate all that. So we've still been conducting stand-ups, virtual stand-ups. We have virtual Friday drinks. So yeah, it's virtual coffees, the whole thing. So it's quite different, but we're still sort of making sure we're keeping that connectedness. So yeah, that's our plan when we're coming back out of this.
Great. And have you found, I know you've mentioned that obviously the productivity, people have found that, they're more productive, not always, but more productive in the home environment, which I suppose old school mentality was never the case. It's always like, you're probably doing your washing and not working. Yeah. But so that's obviously interesting that's come out. I suppose, are there people in the business that feel that they need to, they're the type of people that need to work in an office, that they're motivated by being amongst a team? Or, is your business in a general sort of situation where everyone is quite self-sufficient working from home and, that's something that they want to continue long term?
Yeah, probably there are a number of people that, are reasonably self-sufficient. I mean, we have devs which are, they tend to like to lock themselves away a bit. And I think from that point of view, given the structure of our office, I think that's probably been good for them because they've been able to get that quiet time that they often need. There was a bit of a push on before the COVID of people wanting to have a work from home policy. So I think that just really solidified that and help us, the management, to get their thinking around what that would look like. When, with our project managers, again, they're really on the phone most of the time. So where they're working in the office or at home is really, doesn't really impact the customer, the customer delivery. But but look, I'm sure there's people there that, you know, that do like that, you know, of getting up in the morning and going to the office. I mean, probably for mine, and I guess when I sort of asked other colleagues, one of the things that I found that has been a disadvantage is that, you know, the water cooler chats that you often get. And I guess as a CFO, it's always good to walk around, talk to different people in the organisation, and, you know, go out for a coffee, and you often, you know, you get a lot of information about what's happening and, you know, the general feel for the organisation, and that's something that I'm just, you know, not getting. So that's certainly, I certainly would like to be back in the office from that point of view to get that,
Fair
that sort
enough.
of feel.
Fair enough. So, you know, with obviously COVID arriving on us pretty much, and you guys having the significant growth, this 30% growth. I mean, were you already prepared for that growth? Was it quite easy for the business to adjust to the volume of work needing to, because 30% is a lot. You know, was the business able to adjust to that quite quickly?
I think the thing that's been challenging for us, I mean, we're always looking for rapid growth. I guess we weren't, it's probably come from, you know, sectors where we hadn't envisaged, but, you know, in terms of that actual volume, yes, that's what we planned for. We launched into the UK last year and acquired a company in Hong Kong in October last year. So I guess the test for us, or the conflict for us, is where we deploy our capital across the globe. So I guess we envisage that the UK would be growing a lot more than what it is at the moment. I mean, their lockdown is more severe. Hong Kong is a different market. So, you know, again, they've had some issues with, you know, lockdown, and they've gone in and out twice. So there's been some stalls there. But, you know, the growth in Australia has been hectic. So I guess, yeah, we expected the growth, but it's been in different parts and different sectors. So
from your kind of forecast, are you seeing that, you know, stay at that continuous 30%? Do you see it growing even more significant over the next, you know, 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, I think that, I think there will be a permanent change. I think that companies now will look at online as, if not a core strategy, it'll be, you know, definitely a risk mitigation strategy. That if ever they had to go into a shutdown again, or, you know, I think that others, you know, it's also changed the consumer behaviour a little bit, where people now are becoming, you know, more attuned to online. You know, for example, we've got a customer, you know, national retailer that had orders. They were doing order volumes of 1,000 orders a day before COVID, and they're now doing 5,000 a day.
Wow.
And that's not in a, you know, in an area where, you know, you would expect it in groceries. It's in a totally different sector. So we would expect that to be maintained. So I think that, you know, things are looking really good for the online point of view from where we sit.
Good. Well, that means obviously a lot of opportunities ahead for you guys, which is fantastic to hear. And in terms of, I suppose, challenges, I mean, you know, I think everyone's been through a bit of a challenging part right now, and whether that's been adjusting to growth or downsizing or getting people remote or whatever it may be, or having to change your business model, you know, where do you see and if you do see any, where do you see the challenges in the next, you know, between now and December, say, for instance?
I think the is, you know, delivery. I guess, you know, we and you know, to be honest, you know, capital raising. I mean, you know, growth. We need to be able to fund the growth, and as a private organisation, you know, we always had a Series B planned for this year. It's a tough market to go and raise capital in, so you know, that certainly made things a little bit more challenging. So I think that's going to be a big challenge for us, is to be able to, you know, make sure that we can fund that growth, that we've got the pipeline. But, you know, having the pipeline is a great thing to be going into, you know, a really strong pipeline when you're going into a Series B or any capital raise, to be honest. So we're in a reasonable position, but
good.
We'd prefer not to have COVID from that point of view.
Yeah. Especially in the UK, growth market, UK and US. No, that's fantastic. So, you know, as a takeaway, I mean, we've obviously, like I said, we've all been through a pretty challenging, unexpected, you know, pandemic. What would you give as a takeaway to, you know, any CFOs looking forward in the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's really dependent on the company, but I think that you know, one of the things that I've been, you know, quite you know, we went early. We put in a salary reduction, you know, for our people before, you know, we understood what the implications and the ramifications of COVID would be. You know, we communicated openly with our people, and I've been really pleasantly surprised how they've taken it on board. They understood the situation. I mean, I guess we've communicated all along as you know, each week we've gone, you know, kept people abreast of what's happening and how the impact is. So I would say, you know, a lot of the things you can control or, you know, semi-control outside of, you know, your organisation. But in terms of your people, I guess, yeah, entrust your people with, you know, often they'll go along the journey with you as if you keep them informed and, you know, explain to them what's happening. I mean, people get it. I thought we'd get a lot more pushback on that, but we didn't, which was great.
Brilliant. Well, listen, thank you very much for joining us today, and I'll try and circle back around in a couple of months and see where you guys are at. But it's good to hear a good news story. It's good to hear, you know, a story about growth. I know it's an unexpected market at the moment, and you know, every now and again you do need to get that good news story, you know, to show that there is positivity out of this.
Yeah, great. No, thanks.
Thanks
for
very
having
much.
me. Great. Thank you.